Cruise news time. Well, here we go, folks. 3 infected cruise ships returned to the U.S. yesterday. Ships that have been turned away from ports of call, and you're going to be shocked at what happened next. Also, Costa Concordia. We haven't heard that name in a while. One of the worst cruise ship disasters, of course, in this century. And there's new information coming out about a court case around the Costa Concordia. And then finally, NCL. Cruise Your Way, freestyle cruising. There were 2 instances where I got busted on for the clothes that I was wearing. That was fun. First time ever on a cruise ship. I'm going to share that story with you. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony. Here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, welcome to Monday, December the 27th, 2021. You got 4 days left to figure out what your New Year's resolutions are. Mine's just to go cruising and maybe lose some weight. How about that? What's your big New Year's resolution? Anything you're putting on the list this year that you want to change? Any resolution you always put that you never get done? Put that in the comments and we will all encourage you that way. But anyways, 4 days left of the year. Let's talk a little cruise news. I tell you, last week was hot and heavy with stories about cruise ships that had some number of cases on them, being turned away from cruise ports of call, and then what's next. And I tell you what, the media has had a field day with all of those stories. Well, 3 of those cruise ships returned to port yesterday. The Koningsdam returned to San Diego, the Carnival Freedom returned to Miami, and the Odyssey of the Seas returned to Fort Lauderdale. And guess what happened? These infected cruise ships returned to the U.S., and guess what happened? Nothing. Business as usual. They unloaded their passengers and loaded new passengers and went back cruising. Shocker. One article I was reading about the Koningsdam said that the cruise ship returned and quickly disembarked their passengers. It's funny, they got to port in San Diego at 6 a.m. and they left at 4 p.m., which, by the way, is normal. It's killing me over here. It's shocking, right? It's not shocking if you track along with it. Again, it's kind of annoying that these people with all these resources and researchers and all that don't really understand how cruising works. The CDC's not shutting down these cruise ships because they're inside the tolerance of what's acceptable for COVID on cruise ships, because anybody that's paying attention knows that there will not be any activity in the United States with zero COVID, including cruising. All right, I'm not going to get sidetracked on that, but yes, so there you go. Infected cruise ships returned to the United States, and then they went back out. Shocker. All right, cruise news story number 2. This is an old one. You may know the name Costa Concordia. This was even before I was cruising back on January the 13th of 2012. The Costa Concordia struck underwater rock, and the ship sank. And it's one of the worst disasters. 33 people lost their lives. It was later found that the captain was negligent. He was found guilty of manslaughter, 16 years in prison. This guy did not follow the adage, go down with the ship. He actually got off the ship while 300 people were still on board trying to get off and evacuate. And so this is one of those things that, I tell you what came out of Costa Concordia was the increased focus on the muster drill. And one passenger that was on the Concordia has been trying to win a court case since 2012, and a judge just ruled in favor of this passenger. Passenger awarded damages for suffering and mental distress, awarded 92,000 euros, which is about $105,000 US. But yeah, I was so shocked to find this information. That's a long time. That's a long time to go through a court battle. But yeah, the Concordia creeping her way back into the cruise news today as a passenger compensated, or will be compensated by Costa, according to an Italian court. It's kind of wild to think about, because it didn't sink in the middle of the ocean. It sank just right off of a island, and so it's amazing that that people lost their lives. If you look at it from the outside, you would think that this would be a ship that would be easy to evacuate, but there you go, Costa Concordia. Now, I did have a couple moments on the NCL Joy where my wardrobe was in question. I do want to share that with you, but first I also want to share this with you. This is the latest booster guidance from the CDC. I've seen a lot of questions about when to have a booster, what booster to have. I think the main thing, and pause and look at this chart if you would like, the main call out here is that if you got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the CDC is recommending that if your Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 2 months or older, that you should go ahead and get the booster. For Pfizer and Moderna, that's a 6-month time frame. So, but yeah, I'll pause it again if you want to read this stuff. This is the latest guidance from the CDC on the booster. We don't have any U.S. cruise lines requiring the booster right now, but it could be coming. I had a show last night with my friend Don Terrace, a good live show where we answered a ton of cruising questions. I will leave that linked above. And one of those questions, what do we think the booster situation is going to be for 2022? I figured it's good to share this information if you don't have your booster yet and you're wondering when you should get it. Yeah, NCL Joy, NCL, they tout themselves as freestyle, come as you are, have all the fun, wear short pants. There were a couple times where I got called out for my clothing on NCL. It was a little embarrassing, one of them. And look, I'll be happy to share it with you, but first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising. I don't know what that was. Everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. And a big thank you to everybody that's joined the community over the last few days. The number keeps increasing, and we're really getting some nice conversation in the comments. Please continue. Share this with a friend that you know loves cruising. Thank you in advance. All right, NCL Joy, was it really freestyle, or did the big man have to put on a pair of pants? Here we go. Let me set the stage. It's embarkation day, and this is what I'm dressed like. I knew that we would probably go to the MDR that night, but I'd always heard that you can wear shorts to the main dining room and especially restaurants on NCL. It's the freestyle life, and I was fully embracing it. But I was a little embarrassed because of my baseball hat. I wouldn't wear a hat in the MDR. This is, I wouldn't wear a baseball cap in the MDR, but I wasn't proactive enough. We approached the maitre d' stand for dinner, and we got a table allocated to us. And before we could enter into the restaurant, and before I could take off my hat, somebody said, "Look, you can't eat with that hat on." And I'm thinking, I was going to take the hat off. You didn't give me enough time to take the hat off. So that was a little embarrassing. I got the twinkle in the eye from Jenny and our friends like, you got in trouble. You got to take your hat off. But yeah, so that was the first one. So look, learn from my transgressions. Don't wear a baseball cap anywhere at dinner time, anywhere really. That's that's usually the norm, but especially in the main dining room or especially restaurants on NCL. But yeah, that was fine. Once I had my hat off, they didn't care anything else that we were wearing. And then it came to be specialty dining night. We had 2 specialty dinings set up, one at the Steakhouse Cagney and one at Le Bistro, the French restaurant. And the very first one was Cagney's. And I had the conversation with Jenny. I was like, should I put on pants? Should I not put on pants? And she's like, it's freestyle. So I'm on the internet, and everybody's like, yeah, wear shorts to Cagney's. So I did. I wore shorts to Cagney's, and I felt underdressed. This was the thing I did not anticipate. I thought everybody would just be willy-nilly wearing shorts. No, a lot of people still put on pants and went to Cagney's, even though they didn't have to. And so, first of all, I felt underdressed, but then it got a little weirder. We had some interaction with some people that are in authority on the cruise ship while we were at Cagney's, and then by the time our friends Sal and Charlotte got back to their cabin that night, they were in charge of the reservation for Le Bistro. I don't know that it had anything to do with our interaction at Cagney's, but there was a message on their phone that if you want to come to Le Bistro, you're going to have to put on some pants. And so that one less embarrassing. It was just a message to their room. I wore pants to Le Bistro. It was great. But I do want to share it with you. Even though NCL pretty wide open freestyle, 2 of their specialty restaurants do require pants on the NCL Joy, Le Bistro and Ocean Blue, the seafood restaurant there. So just wanted to make you aware of that and really kind of strike up the conversation. It's an old conversation. Do you like to get dressed up on cruise ships? sponsorships. Do you think it should be required? Is shorts too minimal? Should you have to wear some sort of pants to dinner? What do you like to do when it goes? Do you avoid places where you have to dress up? Leave a comment below, and of course, any of the other news stories that we're talking about today, let's have that conversation. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. Look, a lot of you people are begging me to threaten you, so here you go. Show your support for the show by hitting the like button, or on your next 5 cruises, you will be required to wear a bow tie to the buffet for every meal. Buffet bow tie, 5 cruises. Hit the like button, or that's your fate. It's Tony for Lido. Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.